Sound.xyz is a user-friendly platform that is dedicated to music NFTs. I've reviewed my experience with the platform in the past, and I've been keeping an eye on its development. They recently introduced a liquidity pool called SoundSwap, so today I want to explain what that is and share my thoughts about the idea. Hello, I'm Taj, digitally known as Tropic Vibes, the host of Nifty Business, where we highlight NFTs and explore Web 3.0 as we move from pure speculation to creating real-world value. So for my first experience on Sound.xyz, I thought this was just an amazing platform in the sense that the entry level was just very easy. It was very seamless, and it reminded me of my days back on MySpace. And that is how I discovered a lot of early artists, the Nicki Minaj's and all the people from the early 2000s. I would hop around and listen to these underground artists and just play their music, follow them, and interact with them. It was just a really cool experience. And that's what Sound.xyz reminds me of. It is like the new version of that. So as far as one of the best things that I think that they have going for it is the user interface, and the fact that you can continuously play songs while you're browsing through the website, I think is great. So if you're on OpenSea and you're switching different pages and clicking on links, and you're going from one music NFT page to another, or just other pages in general on OpenSea, the music stops. However, the way they have integrated this thing, the player is sort of wrapped around the site, so it doesn't matter. You're going to different links on the site and so forth. The little player bar on the bottom is going to continually play the song, whether you own it or you're previewing it before you purchase it. So I absolutely love how that is done, and it really reminds me of YouTube. When you're searching for something on YouTube and you're using your phone, doesn't really work as well on browser, but it definitely does when you're using your phone, and it will continually play that video that's up right now, and while you're searching and trying to find something else, it will have that in the background. I love how they did that. So user experience, I'll give it an A+, and just the layout of everything is just easy, seamless. Start your account, set everything up, just great. And then it just has information at your fingertips. You can see exactly how the artists are splitting the revenues. They encourage being an early collector and all those different things, because they even have this thing called a golden egg, which basically is a raffle drawing for a 1 of 1 out of the people that mint of that original mint. And I think that's just really cool. Just incentivizes people not to get on the secondary market, try to get in early, get that, and then the creator, the artist, will randomly draw or select who's going to get that 1 of 1. And I think that is just a cool incentive, just something that is added in there. It's almost like back in the day when people get signed autographed copies of an album or whatever. Well, this is a 1 of 1 cool NFT. Get the same song, but a little bit more exclusive because that one is unique. And looking at prices, it's just great because at 0.005, that is an entry point of today. Anyways, the price of ETH, it is $9, right? And when you look at CDs back in the day, I remember we used to buy CDs for $10 to $15. You get a mixtape, you know, those street rappers or whatever it is, for like $3 to $5. Little no-name guys that are selling out of their cars, or up-and-coming artists and so forth, independent artists. Well, that's what we'd pay for them on the streets. So when you come into this, we're getting in an area now where we're completing. NFT music is competing with streaming. Streaming, depending where you are, which platform you're using, we're talking about anywhere between $5 and $15 for virtually unlimited listening. Of course, you don't own that. However, most people don't even care about that. They just want to have that song that they could play. But now with NFTs, what is being presented is the fact that you could own it. Now, that can range anywhere from about 25 cents or so on Wax to a couple dollars over on Tezos, or you can go $100+ on ETH. So it is a wide range of things, and in most cases, we're talking about just one single song, as opposed to an album or a full mixtape. So there's definitely a different value proposition, the whole owning and what have you. How important is that to people as a collector, as a true fan, having that ability to show the stuff off as your wallet, being able to resell it. It is a different ballgame. But what they also have is this dynamic pricing, which I think is just very cool. Now, getting into this liquidity pool and what they have with this swap, it starts off at that set price at that 0.005 ETH, which is $9, as I said. Now, of that, in the primary sales, 95% of that is going to go to the artist, and 5% is going to go to Sound.xyz, the platform that is facilitating all of this. Now, artists don't have to worry about how much they're going to price it for, how much they're going to put as a supply and what have you. They initially launch as an open supply, and it's going to be there for, I think it's 24 hours, depending on how they set this up. But before they go to this liquidity pool, as many people that want to go into this, buy this thing for 0.005 ETH, can get it. Now, After that happens, this is where things get interesting with this swap. Typically, you would have to go to the secondary market, and then those sales would be shared between the original artist, the current holder, and the platform. However, with this liquidity pool, this sound swap that they just introduced, after the primary sales end, they go to a swap sale, and that price is dynamic based on demand. The more that is minted after that, the higher the price goes. And with that now, the split is going to be completely different. It is not traditional where there's that secondary market and you're buying from someone directly, because you're actually doing a new mint. You're getting this from the original set and will be the first owner of that particular NFT. But the way this is going to be split is 90% goes to the liquidity pool, 7.5% goes to the artist, and 2.5% goes to sound. So you might be wondering, well, what does that even look like? Well, here's an example. And I'm just going to copy the example that they actually gave right on the website. If 50 editions were sold on the primary sale, normally the supply would be locked off and sealed there. However, with the sound swap, then it allows people to buy after that with the dynamic pricing. So let's say 10 were sold on SoundSwap, all those funds are there in the liquidity pool that allows people to instantly sell at whatever floor price is set based on the demand. So that might sound a little bit complicated, but here, let me try to simplify this as much as possible. So normally something would be sold on primary sales, and then after that, then the only way to get it would be to purchase it from a holder, right? So you'd get it secondary. But with the sound swap, now you can still get it minted. You can still be the original holder. So no one had it prior to that. However, rather than the funds going directly to the artist, it's going into a pool that allows people that previously minted to sell. So if 10 are sold from that liquidity pool, those funds are there available for someone to instantly sell, if that makes sense, right? That 90% then sets a floor price. So in the case of the example that I made, 50 were on primary, 10 were on the swap after the primary. Well, any one of those 60 can then instantly sell from that liquidity pool using the funds from that 10 at whatever floor price is set within that pool. So it's just very interesting. So what happens after those 10 are sold? Let's just say that only 60 are sold, 50 primary, 10 within that whole swap. Well, then you just go back to how it is before. You have to have that buyer directly buy from you. You have to list it on the market just like any other NFT and have someone that is also searching for that willing to pay for it. So it's just an interesting, very new dynamic way of having instant sales and what have you. And you might be wondering, well, what is the impact of this for the collection? Now, there's going to be opportunity for collectors. Let's just say a song goes viral after that 24-hour period or however long the mint period is up. So normally, songs don't necessarily catch on day one. So when you have a mint for 24 hours, let's just say a TikTok video blows up, something on Instagram or some tweet, or maybe something goes viral on YouTube, who knows? However, this could possibly happen, that people then want to search out and get these things. Well, let's just say it was only 50 that was sold. That is not a huge supply to get from. So that artist is not going to necessarily get much revenue anyways, and it's going to be from those 50 people. But let's just say those 50 people don't even want to sell it. So it's very unlikely that the masses, the millions of people, or however many people that have now discovered this artist are going to have the opportunity to own that NFT. But with this swap, it sort of is a win-win for everybody, right? People are able to buy into it, and then also people that have it early and want to sell it can instantly sell it. And it also creates the opportunity for an artist to then generate more funds, because normally when they're selling on the secondary markets and what have you, they might not necessarily even get the royalties the way things are happening right now with OpenSea and so forth. If they're selling it directly on Sound.xyz and what have you, okay, sure. But people are figuring out all sorts of creative ways to get around things, so it's not necessarily guaranteed. However, when someone is minting it directly from the platform, that artist is definitely going to get the royalties. Not as much as an original mint, but it is way more than whatever royalties, if they were honored, would ever be. So some people are going to say this is a bad thing. It's going to increase the supply, thereby decreasing the price. But I beg to differ. I believe that this swap is going to actually be a benefit to everyone that's involved, all the parties. And that's because, again, when a song first releases, it might not be popular. People might not even know who that artist is. And then something goes viral. People are then interested in searching for it. Think of the Picassos, the Dalis, the Van Goghs, all of these people. Their art blew up after they passed away. Think of Notorious B.I.G., Tupac, how many albums they sold after they passed, right? Things might blow up well after the fact. Is going to give these artists the opportunity to still generate revenue and income and also allow people to collect their artwork well after the fact. So I think that having that instant ability to sell, then also it just makes it just more liquid. We know that NFTs do not move the fastest, and if you're having to sit on it and just wait for something to be popular, you might list something on OpenSea for months at a time, and you just wait for someone who happens to discover that song to come along and still want that NFT, and if there's only 50 of them, the price is probably going to be very high if this is going to be something that is in high demand at this point. But this swap does make things very interesting because the more people that mint after the fact, the price is going to continually go up. But then it also increases the ability for the old holders to then instantly sell. So I think it's a win-win across the board. The artist is making money, the platform is making money, people are able to sell instantly, there is liquidity. And I'm excited to see where this goes, honestly. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. Of course, it's going to be mixed opinion. People are going to say it's great. People are going to say it's horrible. But I think I'm leaning towards a great thing. How much this will be a success, I don't know exactly, but I'm watching it, keeping an eye on it. They had their first drop. Love to hear your thoughts. Feel free to reach out to me at Tropic Vibes on Twitter. But as usual, I just want to thank you for taking time to listen to this as we're learning and building Web3 together. So until next time, later. The Nifty Business Arrow is not investment advice. It provides insights and information within the space. As with anything, please do your own research before making a decision whether you're making an investment or a purchase.